Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today it is really cold outside. We got a nice hard freeze overnight. Beautiful sunrise coming up over the mountain in the distance, over the pond. And thankfully, it's supposed to be clear and very low winds today. We have had extremely high winds, tons of rain, and we had a blizzard. I think you might have seen that in a previous video. Uh, so, actually, these rungs of plastic fencing, I don't know how they got blown down, but man, the winds were up to 70-mile-an-hour gusts. I want to say that's like 130-kilometer-an-hour gusts. So, yes, luckily we were all safely inside and no one was walking past when this tree decided to take a dive. So, that thing's pretty frozen to the ground right now. So, that'll be work for later in the week if we get some sunny weather and the ground thaws. Same with this fencing. But today it's nothing but fun because it's Sunday. So Laura got me a few different plants for Christmas. They're really exciting. They're species that I don't have, I've always wanted to have. So we're going to pot those up in some new pots. And I have a ginormous announcement on top of that. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. So here we are back inside the warm ranch. Thank God. I may live up in the frosty northeast of the United States, but I hate the cold. I spent a lot of time in the Carolinas and some subtropical deserts, and I much prefer that hot, balmy, steamy weather year round. If I could be shirtless in a bathing suit and barefoot, every day of my life, that would be great. But for now. With Franny pursuing a professional ballet career in New York and Laura's family being from Connecticut, this is the perfect place for us right now. I absolutely love the ranch and doing all the paddleboarding and stuff in the warm season, so I will get over the cold. So, moving on. So, here we have a nice little display of the presents. So, before we get into them, I'll make my big announcement because I can't wait. I don't know if you can't wait, but ding, Laura is pregnant. Woo! So we found out a few months ago. Just got this, one of the second ultrasounds, and baby is healthy. Next week we find out whether it's a boy or a girl, which I don't care as long as it's healthy. And apparently it is. It's doing really well. So you have to check back next week to find out the results on that. Because of the holiday, nobody seemed to be working. So, but anyway, so that was quite a pleasant surprise, and Laura decided to base the theme of her gift around that as well. So, why don't we start with the pots, and then we'll talk about the plants. So, I believe she found all these plants on Etsy, and she did a really good job with maintaining them downstairs in the basement under some grow lights. And I believe she reached out to my broski Ian at Back Garden Bonsai. Thank you, broski. He is my consigliere for all plant and tree questions. So luckily she knows that and she reached out. And so thanks a lot, Ian, for helping out. We got the job done because the desert rose and the ponytail palm here, they came bare rooted. So this would be our nice desert rose. Nice tapered trunk already, about 5 branches coming out along the base. And I'll leave this long stalk here for now until we get it to settle into its place in the house. These are supposed to flower, some nice pink flowers, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, nice taper, nice branching going on already. A really quality plant here. So good job on you, Laura. And then the ponytail palm, which is one of the first 2 videos I watched from Nigel Saunders at the Bonsai Zone. And I believe I watched the ponytail and the Dracaena. And over 3 years ago, we got a ponytail palm. It looked awesome. We tried to do too much, pruned off the roots, gave it a little haircut, and eventually it died. So that's like most of my initial plants in bonsai. So if you're very new to the game, don't get discouraged. It's all part of it. It happens to everybody. And then this third one, it's a little Swiss cheese. Gardenia. So these get the nice, large, delicate leaves, true to form. They've got the Swiss cheese holes. So, all right, I believe I said I was going to do the pots first, but whatever. Now we know. Ponytail palm, gardenia, and a desert rose. So when Laura and I first met, I was her personal trainer, health specialist, and right away, yes, she was very attractive. But what really grew into love was her work ethic. She was never late. She was always ready to go. We had amazing conversations, spent a lot of time together, and really realized how much we had in common. So even though it's a cliche, yes, we did meet a personal trainer and client. So now happily married and with child. So on that note, she kind of did a little gag gift as the theme with these pots. So the first two, hopefully we can focus with the white pot. But we have an upper body of a female, the chest, and the backside, the booty. So she said, well, this is initially what I think made you fall in love with me and attracted you to me. And now here we are with a stork over a bassinet. So it's a nice little baby themed gift. I thought that was hilarious. So I'm going to do the plants that are ponytail on the chest, the desert rose in the booty, and we'll do the gardenia, those nice Swiss cheese leaves coming out of the bassinet. I think that'll look cool. And if you notice here, this black canvas waterproof thing, you snap 4 corners and it turns into a repotting station, because I make a hell of a lot of a mess. And I used to be able to get it cleaned up in time before Laura got home from work, but now she sees a lot of this stuff in the process and realizes what a mess I make. So it's just easier. What a great gift. I love it. My broski Scott Winard at Let's Do Bonsai, he has a hard black plastic one that I was really attracted to. I thought it was, looked great on camera with the green plants popping on the black backdrop, and then being able to water and change your soil and everything indoors without making a mess. I thought that was really cool. So that's where we got the idea originally. All right, so these two have little drip trays built into them, and this one doesn't have holes. That's why I think this plant will work really well in there. They don't need a lot of water, and I believe they actually do better as they get root bound. So this is the soil we're going to be using today. So I have a lot of it left over from when I was preparing to grow some trees from seed. I ordered 11 different species. I was going to get 275 different tree seeds in. So there's a playlist on it, and no impact, no idea. I sent the guy an email. I got nothing back. It just says that it's it's getting put together or something in the warehouse. So I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the Postal Service. I think that there might be something going on with that website. So, short story long, I have a home mixture of this Miracle Grow seed starter. That's a third of it. A third of it is peat moss, and then a third are used coffee grinds. So I've started incorporating coffee grinds into my plant soils because I already have them. I don't want them to go to waste. And they're really nice and fine and the same texture as a lot of the seed starters and the desert tree soil compositions that you can get from the store paying the big bucks. So why not just repurpose something that I already have? So I don't think that there's any detriment to using it. I think, it's fine. So we're going to go with that. So that's what I have mixed up in here today. So we'll get a little base layer. Get a base layer in all of them. We'll kind of do it systematically like that. All 3 kind of at one time. You see the ponytail palms leaning to the side, and that's because it's a little baby. So it doesn't have deep roots or anything to hold it in place. So we'll probably use a couple of stones to hold it upright until it grows better roots. I also have a few tea bags in here, used up tea bags. I find that the tea bag itself works great as a screen in bonsai pots. And I'm sure that there's no harm from the little bit of tea that's in the bag itself. All right, cool. Now to fill the bassinet and stork. So we'll be converting, if you've seen past videos from the ranch, we'll be converting our seed room into the new nursery. So I won't be taking all the trees out of there, but it's going to be baby takeover on that room. All right, here we go. See, already it's working because I've got soil going everywhere and it's staying enclosed here. All right. So while you're home for the holiday season, you got some extra time on your hands, you maybe have some interest in bonsai, or maybe you're getting obsessed like I got obsessed right away, check out those other channels I just talked about. Pretty much everybody's at a different point in their bonsai journey, bonsai career. Like Nigel, he's been doing it for 30 years. He's the man. He's where most of us learned about this and started. And Scott and Ian, Scott out at Let's Do Bonsai, he does some really cool things. He's got a lot of starter kits, he's got a beautiful property. My broski, my consigliere Ian, he's really knowledgeable. He's got great video editing skills, just great videos. They're shorter, so if you don't have the time or the inclination to watch one of the 30 to 50 minute videos that some of the other guys can put out, check out Ian. You can watch 3 or 4 of his videos in 20 minutes, and he's just got a nice wide range of different species. And why not? I'm just going to give my boy Bonsai Jay up in Canada a shout out. He hasn't put out too many videos lately, but maybe if we put some peer pressure on him, he'll get back to doing that. He's got some awesome species and a great little setup as well. So there you go. 4 bonsai guys to check out. All right. So I'm not messing with the roots, Obvi. I don't like to mess with roots on a new tree, a new plant at all. I usually wait until it shows that it's growing and healthy again, and then in a proper season, like early spring or to midsummer, that's when I'll do my root prunings. Boom, boom. This one has a nice little root base for something that came bare rooted. So even though it's tall, I think it's going to be all right for standing up on its own. So you want to, press down on the soil, but, you're not trying to compact it so much that the roots have nowhere to go. You want it to be light in there. You want there to be oxygen to be able to get through when you water and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll set that first one aside. Make a little hole for it. So using stones in your plantings to hold your babies up, or after you do a root pruning and it's just not sitting very sturdy in the pot, it's not just good for holding it upright, so that if you're, doing some stuff, you move the pot, it falls over. It's also great for when you're watering, so you can water onto the stone, and then that takes the impact of the watering out of it. Because if you have a shallow tree or a plant, and you come at it with some vigorous watering, it's going to knock the soil out, it's going to knock your plant over, and you're just going to be not happy about that. I know from experience, because then you're standing there with a watering can, you have muddy soil all over the place, and your plant has just fallen over. So you're like, oh, what do I do first? All right. this guy back in here. Boom, boom. All right. Booty done, chest done. Let's get this baby done. This has a nice set of roots in here. Cool. I think my favorite part of this holiday, other than spending time with Franny and Laura and just, taking in the season for what it is, I'm a multicultural psychology geek. I love other cultures and they fascinate me. So I spent some time asking all my broskies from around the world, what's your holiday tradition? What's your family eat traditionally? Things like that. Really interesting, a lot of fun. Laura grew up with having predominantly Italian traditions, and same with myself. So, like Christmas Eve, it was seafood, and then on Christmas Day, she would do like lasagna, and my family would do manigat and antipas, and that whole spread. If you're an American Italian, you know what I'm talking about. But then my father's side was Polish, so I just grew up obsessed with Polish food. So we did a traditional Polish spread with glumpkies and pierogies and kielbasa and latkes. It was incredible. Come to find out, my broski out in England, his family, does a Polish tradition too. One of my buddies in Austria, he was very similar to stuff I grew up eating that was supposed to be on the Polish side. Pork and sauerkraut, warm potato salad. Anyways, just something fun I like to do outside of plants. Ironically enough, I think all my best friends are outside of the United States. Got South Africa, Austria, Sweden, England, Ireland, Canada. My broski Sean down in South Africa, he doesn't have a bonsai channel. I'd like to encourage him to do it, but he's got a cool spread of trees, so we have some great conversations as well. And that's what you'll notice with this bonsai culture. Everybody's kind of like-minded and chill and absolutely happy to help. It's not just competitive like, oh, I want more subscribers. No, I'm not helping you. No, it's not like that. But speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell. Tons coming out of the ranch all the time. So yeah, why don't I get a little close-up and then we'll get... All right. Here we have the desert rose. See those nice little branches coming out, 5 of them from that perfectly tapered trunk. I know I'm just gonna love the bark on these as it ages. You see those nice little textural lines and curves, that's cool. Maybe some flowers are coming out of that in early spring, and then I'll give it its first pruning. Got the little bassinet baby with the Swiss cheese plant. I'm loving those leaves. Laura was pretty happy because some new growth even occurred on her watch, so. And here we go with the final one. So you see the little nub starting at the base. That's what the ponytail palm's famous for, a nice wide trunk. And then the crazy top. So boom, boom. That's going to do it for another episode of Jarhead Bonsai, y'all. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. So take care and cheers.